Good morning, students. Welcome to the class on organometallic chemistry. Today we will discuss about organocopper reagents. What are organocopper reagents? Organocopper reagents are dialkyl cuprates. These are generally called as Gilman reagents. The general nomenclature is lithium dialkyl cuprates. Organolithium reagents also exist as these are also called as organolithium reagents, organocopper reagents. They also exist in this form. Generally, organocopper reagents exist as dimers. Organocopper reagents generally exist in dimeric form in solutions. When we look at the general nomenclature, this is called lithium dimethyl cuprate, or in shortcut, generally what we call it as Gilman reagent. This is the general Gilman reagent. How do we prepare organocopper reagents? Generally, cuprous halide, when it is treated with alkyl lithium, it forms alkyl cuprate. This, upon further treatment with one more alkyl lithium, then it becomes lithium dimethyl cuprate. So, Gilman reagent preparation is by mixing cuprous halide, one equivalent of cuprous halide with two equivalents of alkyl lithium reagents. What are the uses of Gilman reagents? Generally, Gilman reagents act as nucleophiles. They will undergo nucleophilic addition to aldehydes. Generally, this reaction is fast. So, what we will get is isopropanol. But the same reaction is not possible under minus 90 degrees centigrade. So when we want to do this nucleophilic addition of Gilman reagent to aldehyde at minus 90 degrees centigrade, it is not possible. That means Gilman reagents are not that strong nucleophiles as Grignard reagents or alkyl lithium reagents. Similarly, when we want to do nucleophilic addition of Gilman reagents to ketones, at room temperature itself, the reaction is very slow. So what we can say is Gilman reagents are not strong nucleophiles. They will not undergo nucleophilic addition to ketones. But instead, they can be used as nucleophiles to substitute halogens in alkyl halides. This bromide, when it is treated with phenyl Gilman reagent, it undergoes nucleophilic substitution this phenyl group acts as a nucleophile, so it undergoes a nucleophilic substitution. Generally, this reaction follows an SN2 fashion. So because of the SN2 fashion, it changes its stereochemistry. So Gilman reagents are used for the coupling reactions where a good leaving group, what we can say, a good leaving group is present on a carbon. So when we have a good leaving group on a carbon, then Gilman reagents will undergo an SN2 reaction, so that we will have a coupling between these two carbons. Now we will see some more examples of these coupling reactions. When cyclohexyl iodide is treated with methyl Gilman reagent, this methyl group will undergo coupling with this carbon in an SN2 fashion. So we will get this product. X could be a halogen or a good leaving group. Then what we will get is this methyl group will undergo substitution. This is the product. Now I will give some practice problems. You practice them. But always remember that these reactions will occur in an SN2 fashion. So the stereochemistry of the incoming group, alkyl group, must be reversed to what is there here. It is a little tricky question. When we add methyl Gilman reagent to this compound, we do expect a direct nucleophilic substitution here, but the product is different. It undergoing a nucleophilic addition to this carbon, then this double bond is polarizing towards this leaving group, because OTS is a good leaving group. So what we are generating is a 3-membered ring here. When carbonyls are treated with halogens, halogenation occurs on alpha carbon, and this alkyl halide, when it is treated with Gilman reagent, it undergoes nucleophilic substitution of that halogen. So generally, what is the final product? 1 carbon extension. We are extending this carbon chain by methyl group. So when we do this combination, halogenation of carbonyls followed by Gilman treatment, we do increase one more carbon, or we can increase the alkyl group present in the Gilman reagent. You write the practice problem. Here we have 2 alpha carbons where we can do halogenation. So take this halogen in excess amount, at the same time use this Gilman reagent also in excess. Then you write the product. That means one carbon homologation on both sides. When alkene is treated with this combination, bromoform and potassium tertiary butoxide, it generates a carbene. So carbene will undergo three-membered ring formation with alkene. So here what we are getting is this 1,1 dialkyl dibromo cyclopropane. Then when it is treated with two equivalents of methyl Gilman reagent, both the halogens will be replaced with methyl groups. So it undergoes nucleophilic substitution. At the same time, when we just want to remove these two halogens, we can reduce it with the LaH, lithium aluminum hydride, so that these two halogens will be reduced. Now, what will happen when we treat this with alkyl lithium? Alkyl lithium reacts with 1,1 dihalo compounds and it generates carbene. Again it generates carbene. So this is how we can explore the Gilman reagents chemistry to extend the carbon chain by one more carbon. I'll just give a practice problem. What is the product? So it is a similar product like this. Coupling reaction between alkyl halides and Gilman reagents, it is not just limited to sp3 hybridized carbon, halogens and sp3 hybridized carbons. Even the coupling reaction occurs between vinyl halides, that means halogen on a double bond. When we treat this vinyl iodide with Gilman reagent, it undergoes coupling with methane. This alkyl group will undergo coupling with this vinyl group after expelling halogen. Of course, here the mechanism is different. It is not SN2 reaction here. Here the mechanism is oxidative addition followed by reductive elimination. Vinyl halide undergoes oxidative addition to the copper. In Gilman reagents, copper is generally in +1 oxidation state. When vinyl halide undergoes oxidative addition to copper, so this is Gilman reagent. When vinyl iodide undergoes oxidative addition, both vinyl group as well as iodide will add to copper. In this case, copper will be in +3 oxidation state. Now, a reductive elimination step will occur on this complex, where this methyl group, one of the alkyl group in Gilman reagent, it will couple with this vinyl group. So this alkyl as well as vinyl group will couple and they will come out of the complex. Then what we have is iodine lithium. So this will decompose as methyl cuprate plus lithium iodide. So the coupling reaction between vinyl halides and Gilman reagents is possible, but here it is not the SN2 mechanism, it is the oxidative addition of vinyl halide to the Gilman reagent followed by reductive elimination, which is giving the particular product. Please take a correction, this is methyl. I'll give you some practice problems. Here it is just coupling. So iodine will be replaced with methyl, whatever it is there on Gilman reagent. There will be a coupling between this carbon and alkyl group on Gilman reagent. These coupling reactions are stereoselective. Here both phenyl and iodine both are cis to each other, or in general it is cis compound or Z configuration. After coupling, we wherever iodine was there, halogen was there, the same place alkyl group will come. So that means it is stereoselective reaction. It is a stereoselective reaction. For example, if we treat this vinyl halide with Gilman reagent, so what we will get, since it is a stereoselective reaction, we will get alkyl group here. This estelinic Gilman reagent, what is the product here? Since Gilman reagents act as a nucleophile, we can add Gilman reagents to acid chlorides. When we add one equivalent, halogen chloride will be replaced with methyl group. So what we will get is a ketone. Since Gilman reagents are not strong nucleophiles, so they cannot undergo nucleophilic addition to carbonyl. So that means conversion of acid chlorides to ketones is possible using Gilman reagents. Whereas if you want to do the same reaction with Grignard reagent or alkyl lithium reagent, they are strong nucleophiles, so the reaction will not stop here. The reaction will further and one more equivalent of either Grignard reagent or alkyl lithium will add to here, so that we will end up with a tertiary alcohol. But copper reagents are uh, soft nucleophiles. That means they are not that strong, so they cannot react with ketone. So the reaction stops at the ketone stage itself. We can add Gilman reagents to alkynes, triple bond. So here alkyl group will attack on one of the carbons in triple bond, and the triple one of the pi bond will be polarized towards carbon. So what we will get is ethyl, and since we have two alkyl groups, we can use two equivalents of alkyne. So we can get a vinyl Gilman reagent. So this is in situ generated vinyl Gilman reagent. Now if we want to stop the reaction here itself, what we can do, we can just add an acid. When we add acid, copper will be replaced with acid. Copper will be replaced with proton. So when we want to stop this reaction at this stage itself, we can stop this. We want to explore it further because it is again a Gilman reagent. We can explore it further with a coupling reaction. I'll give the product. Since it is a stereospecific reaction, the alkyl group will be in the place of this 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5. And not only that, here the alkyl addition to triple bond, it undergoes syn addition. It undergoes syn addition. That means the alkyl group and copper both will add from the same side. So that is why we are getting this Z alkene. We are getting this Z alkene because Gilman reagents to triple bonds follows syn addition. This is a practice problem. You try to predict the products. When we add acid, what is the product? Here when we want to add Gilman reagent, in this case it is a symmetrical alkene, so we can add Gilman reagent from any side, but it is not a symmetrical alkyne. One side we have a withdrawing group, so you can take the polarities. It is a withdrawing group, so alpha carbon will be negatively charged, beta carbon will be positively charged. So we need to add Gilman reagent at, sorry, this is negative, this is positive. Of course Gilman reagent is negatively charged, so methyl group will attack at this carbon. We have seen how to open this epoxide using organolithium reagents. Now reaction of epoxides, cyclohexane epoxides, will follow the same chemistry. So it has to open in such a way that the product should be diaxial and trans. So I am not writing the chair conformation here, but when we want to predict the product, we must take the chair conformation and we need to write the products in the chair form itself, and there we need to have anti, and both the groups should be diaxial. That means this methyl group and this oxygen, they should be diaxial. So generally, since it is above the plane, it will give this alcohol, and here if you want to write the axial position, it should be below the plane. So you follow the stereochemistry from the lithium reagents addition. I'll just give the products here. It is the same stereochemistry from the above problem. This we need to predict it directly, because this carbon is having one more alkyl group. So this is sterically crowded, whereas this carbon, it is having hydrogen. So compared to this carbon, it is less sterically crowded. So this alkyl group approaches this epoxide from this side, and epoxide is above the plane. So N-propyl group will approach this molecule from below the plane. So you can write the product. Now we will see how Gilman reagents will be added to enones. Generally, Gilman reagents are soft nucleophiles. Gilman reagents are soft nucleophiles. At the same time, they also softens the reactant. That means they'll make the reactant to be soft so that it will undergo 1,4 addition. Of course, we know hard nucleophiles will undergo 1,2 addition to enones. Soft nucleophiles will undergo 1,4 addition to enones. So Gilman reagents are one example for soft nucleophiles. They will undergo 1,4 addition. When we add this, when we add Gilman reagent will undergo 1,4 addition. So this double bond will be polarized towards carbonyl. Of course, carbonyl bond will be polarized towards oxygen. Then again it will polarize so that it generates a negative charge on alpha carbon. It generates a negative charge on alpha carbon. Now, if we want to stop the reaction here itself, we just need to add an acid here. So proton will be added. Okay. Or if we want to further explore the reaction, yes, we can do it. We can add an electrophile, extra additional electrophile. If we add H plus as an electrophile, the reaction stops here itself. But when we add additional electrophile, for example, in this case, it is allyl bromide, this anion acts as a nucleophile. So this nucleophile will undergo nucleophilic substitution on this allyl bromide. So this position, it will undergo alkylation. Here what we need to discuss is the two alkyl groups, they must be trans to each other. These two alkyl groups, they must be trans to each other. Here, when we use only one alkyl group and when we want to stop the reaction here itself, we may not need to predict the stereochemistry of this methyl group, but when we do further alkylation, we must write transalkylation. Why? It is a simple reason. When one alkyl group is, say for example, if methyl group is above the plane, then this allyl group will feel spherical crowding from above the plane. Below the plane, there is no such alkyl group. So below the plane, there is no spherical crowding. So allyl group will easily approach this molecule from below the plane. So that is why these two alkyl groups must be trans to each other. You can apply the same principle here. Here I am not using additional electrophile, I am just using H plus. Ammonium chloride is a good source of H plus. So you can apply the same principle, same trans principle here. So this group, this alkyl group is above the plane. So Gilman reagent will approach this molecule from below the plane. So you predict the product. This is tertiary butyl group. Here Gilman reagent will undergo 1,4 addition. The generated anion, here we have intramolecular electrophile. So this negative charge will undergo nucleophilic substitution on this carbon. So the ring size 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what we are getting? We are getting a 6-membered cycle. Then when you want to predict the stereochemistry of this ring fusion, of course it should be cis. This is the methyl group from ring. Because it is a cyclic system, it should follow cis. For example, if this methyl group occupies above the plane, this group will be below the plane. Now this entire group is below the plane, so the nucleophile, I'll write the intermediate also. Say for example, this alkyl group is approaching this molecule from above the plane, then this alkyl group will be below the plane. So here also it will be below the plane only. When it is approaching, this methyl group has to occupy a position opposite to this alkyl group, because this alkyl group is already below the plane. Now this alkyl group will move to above the plane. So that is why we are getting cis ring fusion in this case. I'll give you one more practice problem where a carbonyl is used as internal electrophile. Now you predict the product. Okay, alkyl group will undergo 1,4 addition, then anion generated here will undergo nucleophilic addition to this carbonyl. Now when we count the ring size 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it will be again a 6-membered ring fusion. Here what we are getting? We are getting an alcohol. The ring fusion is, again it is similar to this. So here also the ring fusion must be cis. Ring fusion must be cis in this case also. I'll just give 3 more practice problems. Though we have a leaving group here, Gilman reagent is not undergoing any coupling reaction with this. Here it is undergoing 1,4 addition reaction. So it undergoes 1,4 addition from this carbon. The stereochemistry of this methyl group in Gilman reagent will be like this. Here also we will get cis ring fusion. The alkyl group will be above the plane. So cis is the major product. But when we do the same reaction with the 6-membered rings, here the product is trans. It is trans. The takeaway point from this class is that 1,4 addition is successful with soft nucleophiles. We have some examples for such soft nucleophiles: cyanide ion or amines or thiols or enolate ions or organocuprates. Even Grignard reagents in combination with the copper, Grignard reagents in combination with some copper salt, they also act as soft nucleophiles, so they all undergo 1,4 addition. 1,2 addition is successful with hard nucleophiles. General examples for hard nucleophiles are hydrides, organolithium, and organomagnesium, means Grignard reagents. So remember, 1,4 addition is possible with soft nucleophiles, 1,2 addition is possible with hard nucleophiles.